So we'll move with some speed here. We don't I'll forego the comments, and then we're going to talk about or have the opportunity to talk about the profit and loss and the budget, which were submitted. I've already given my comments and had a discussion with Megan, who made some corrections. And so I don't have anything further. I don't know if anybody else in the committees has any questions or comments.
You can, well, they're both based on each other. So if you have questions on the profit and loss or the balance sheet or the budget, I'm happy to review any of the expenses or revenues with you.
My only question is the community bank checking, 593,000.
Yeah.
What's the horizon on that? I mean, I know when you went back and you looked at cash flow.
Well, that just went up because we just got the county appropriation.
Right.
So we just got 225. So that's why that's so high.
No, what I'm saying is we have those three CDs. And I think Jeff, and Megan, when you went through that, there was a time period that you thought that the checking account would cover, we would leave the CDs to mature, correct?
Right.
That hasn't changed, I think.
No, as a matter of fact, we need, prior to the county funding, I was asking lightly about putting more into a CD. So we have enough. I think we have probably still have a little bit of excess money that we could allocate to another CD or money market at least. But like we said, we just got the 225, and Jody's always shaking his head saying, no, we got to keep more money in the account. But
well, we'll know, we'll have a better feeling by the end of next month, because we just finished the paving at Ridgefield Springs. I don't have a bill from that yet, we're negotiating a change order. And we still don't have a estimate from NYSEG for the electric extension. So those are two big items that are going to cost, that we've got to upfront the money.
so it would be just our decision if we put something in. The only thing you would forego is the interest if you had to cash it in and
Right.
make.
I think one matures in June. I don't have those maturity dates on me right now.
I mean, in our business, it's not like private business where everybody's pushing to get things done. We could be sitting here 6 months from now saying, when are we going to get the final estimate, or when are we going to get the what the cost for the utility extension is going to be, and that's not Jody. That's the people we're dealing with, so.
Right.
It's up to the pleasure of the group and the board, actually. But we're not risking a lot if we wanted to invest and we had to cash it in. I guess that's the bottom line.
Right. I mean, we have
Still pretty liquid.
$800,000 between the money market and the checking.
Yep.
I mean, again, you don't gain anything if you leave them.
Right.
Put them in the CD. If it matures, you're way ahead. If you have to take it out prematurely, big deal. You're back where you started from. So it would make sense to me.
Well, at the minimum, if you have a general cost, if we have 500,000 sitting there and it's only going to cost you 300. Yeah,
Do you have, I think.
you just have to have a general idea of what the cost is. If it's 50,000 and you move some of the money, it's pretty simple stuff to do, I guess. But if you don't really know it all.
I think it's also pretty liquid too, so you
I
can
think
put it in
we'll know
there.
in 2 weeks.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you know shortly.
The contractor isn't going to want to stay. I'm going to send a bill in 3 months. He's going to want to be paid immediately.
Contracted for the paving.
Paving's done, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have a bill for it.
We do.
We didn't have an estimate for what that was going to be ahead of time.
We had an estimate, but they couldn't get the exact asphalt.
But you have a general idea.
So, but we have an estimate for it.
What is the estimate?
Probably about 100,000. But the electric, I don't have any idea.
Well, why don't we take, look, if we got 800,000 between a money market and a checking account, why don't we take half of it, put it in a CD, and leave the rest available. 400,000 or 500,000, put it in a CD. If we got to cash it, we got to cash it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. A lot of money to sit and make no money. That's my only question.
What's with Hillside, did they pay?
Hillside? What do you mean?
Isn't that the place up on, by Suco?
Yeah, their admin fees, you mean pilot field fees? We haven't, we don't usually bill for pilot fees till August, so.
Yeah, I mean, but they did,
They paid last year.
They did find it.
Yeah,
It
they
was
paid
late.
last year. It was the year prior that we kept sending stuff, so they sent it late in 25.
And all those issues with them were all gone? That you know of? Anybody know?
Jody, we had a meeting with Chris Canada about Hillside. That their attorneys reached out to our attorneys.
Yes,
And
we still don't have a resolution to it yet.
resolution to what?
What's going on with the bank trying to foreclose on?
That's all. Really doesn't really affect us anyway, regardless. Just curious, was it?
Well, what would happen if they foreclose in terms of the?
Pilot is done, basically,
No, it's not, it's with 29.
29.
2029.
Right, so, yes.
Do you just not get it?
I don't know. They're probably gonna want, if someone buys them, I'm sure they'll want to somehow.
Correct, but do you start a new one,
I don't know.
right?
I think that was the question at the beginning, is whether we started a new one or if we just continue.
Okay.
Just for the sake of being an IDA and concerned about issues,
Right.
I think it would be behoove to have a discussion, so we know what's going on. I mean, there's an issue with a lot of this, right? Just
I
in the
can,
general Otsego County area, having a big building like that closed on it, and a huge multi-billion-dollar company.
I can ask Chris to come to board if you want an update, because he's the one that's been dealing with their
I
attorneys.
don't, I think you're, I don't know, I think you're capable of just keeping us, you
Just give
know,
us a report.
just a,
What's Chris have to say about it? What's,
Right, okay.
you know, what's the impact?
town,
Potentially,
city,
you know.
county issue. I think.
So if you don't mind, let me ask you a quick question because, and I apologize if somebody said something about this, but it's very difficult to hear everybody talking.
Yeah.
But I understand that the current financial institution that financed that property is in foreclosure. Is that correct? I'm asking, you guys had a meeting with the attorney. Is it in foreclosure?
That we don't know.
I don't know.
Why did you meet with the attorney? What was the underpinnings of it?
Their attorneys called him, I think it was the bank's attorneys.
Right.
Sorry, we met with him about something else.
Met with who?
This came up. Sorry?
Met with who?
No, their attorneys, the bank's attorneys called Chris, and I believe it was about the pilot. Sorry.
I thought you guys were in the meeting. You guys weren't in the meeting?
No.
Not, no, when they called, no,
Oh.
we met with Chris afterwards. About something else and it came up.
So we don't know if they're in foreclosure, so. That your question, Jeff? Do we, if they,
Yeah, Mike, I don't, if there's an issue, what's the issue? I mean, is it that they're not making their payments to the bank and they're in foreclosure? Is it that they're fine with their current bank and they're trying to ask us to do something on the pilot to extend it or to what, I don't know what the issue is.
Again, what I knew or heard, right, essentially, and that was an article, was essentially the bank is looking to move into foreclosure. The company's no longer paying. They don't have enough income to cover, and so that was my understanding, and that was months ago. That
Just think
was
it's,
proceeding.
yeah, and it really is kind of, doesn't really affect us majorly, to be honest with you.
Other than, to your point, it's a county,
It's just a
right?
county, it's an issue of things that are happening, that
And
we
for
should
me,
be
it's-
aware of, I
It's
think.
interesting, housing seems to be all the,
Right.
all the talk, but yet we have now this huge housing building
Right.
in it. Right?
I'm just the awareness of what, things that come across.
I'm sure
Let me,
Chris
let
knows.
me, let me be Captain Obvious for a minute from the financial side, okay?
Yep,
I don't know what happens with our claim to any payments that are due us.
Right.
Do we sit outside of a foreclosure and just get eliminated, or can we convert what's owed to us to a lien to the property so that if it is sold, we get paid? So I don't know all that.
It would work that way. I guess I'm just thinking through my head, right? The pilot is essentially a fee that they're paying to forego property taxes and to cover our expenses. If they foreclose, we no longer have that expense, we no longer have that administrative fee, and they're no longer on the property roll per se for it. So it would actually, to me, I don't think they owe us anything.
It's just $1,500.
Right, I don't think they owe us anything that you would turn over to that. I think the question would be more if
Just
somebody buys it.
just answer those questions, right? We're just looking for somebody to answer all those questions.
Yeah, and I think
That's
there's the two-pronged, right? First of all, ultimately what happens to our pilot, what do we do?
Right.
The secondary is what's going on with the building from a county perspective to understand how it's going to impact the county, or is there opportunity to do something different?
Chris has talked to the bank
And
attorney.
extend the pilot to make more money for the IDA. There's a lot of issues that you want to talk about.
Can we not have Chris
I'll get
investigate
an
this and
update
report
from
back to
Chris.
us?
Yeah, because I'm sure he's talked to them since that meeting. That was a meeting, was like a month ago,
Yeah.
maybe more than a month ago. So I will get an update from Chris and I will send it out and we can discuss it at the,
Megan,
and he
Megan.
usually comes to our board meeting, yes.
are
Yes.
you gonna call him?
Yeah, I can call him or I'll just send him an email and ask him to give me a brief update and I'll just forward it to you guys.
Okay, now, if you do call, I'm happy to join you on the conference call.
Okay.
I'd be fine too. I'm curious.
Me too, absolutely.
So you won't just have him come forward?
Well, we're not getting the answers that we should be getting from you guys, to be honest with you. That's my opinion, but
Right,
so we make it simple if we just do some of the stuff that's kind of important to. It's not the $1,500, just a lot. There's transactions going on, and just we need to be part of it, understanding what's going on in housing to future, what are we doing with the next? If someone else buys this, we're ahead of the situations. Just seems logical in business to buy, for me. I don't need really in-depth stuff, it's
right.
kind of a private situation as far as I'm concerned, but I think we should be aware, projects should be aware that this is an issue, we're working on something and they're foreclosing on a building that has housing, just what Cheryl said, those are, and how we move forward with decisions that we make, what we want to do, so.
Great.
I did want, sorry, I don't mean to,
That's
open another can of worms. I just understanding Oneonta Theater, we still haven't gotten any payment. I thought we had arranged a payment plan with them.
You
When
sent-
does that begin?
That's 47 LLC received the actual form signed.
No, I'm waiting for Kurt. Because last I knew Kurt was working on an agreement between the IDA.
Oh, we still don't have the agreement. Okay.
We have
So
an
I sent
agreement,
him
we
out,
just
I
don't have
sent him
it
the
in print.
notes and I sent him the payment schedule that I sent to Ed May that he agreed to,
Yeah.
that payment schedule you have, and so I
Okay,
don't have anything from Kurt.
What do you need from him?
But he's the one drawing up the agreement.
for signature.
Why is he drawing up, why don't we just draw up the agreement and say sign this?
Thought that
Why
would be
wouldn't we-
something that legal should do.
Yeah, I mean, usually, if you can put in what you want, rather than going back and having to send it to legal to look at, it's gonna be the same situation. They say, here's your
I think-
paperwork,
It's
get
been,
back to us in 3 days with your attorney and sign it.
been like a month,
Yeah. no,
at
I-
least.
Am I wrong with something? Anybody else see something
I would
different?
think it would have to come from legal. I wouldn't think it'd be something.
Not us, legal, but I'm just saying, we're waiting for him to draw up an agreement, which I guarantee he will never draw up. Knowing him. I wouldn't, I'd wait. Why would he?
Why would you wait if I asked?
No, I'm talking about,
Oh, well, them,
yeah,
the theater, yeah.
Yeah.
theater, I'm talking about the theater.
I thought we had the agreement.
Oh, Kurt Schulte, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, sorry.
No, we have an
Sorry.
agreement, we just wait for.
I'm sorry, I was thinking it was, the guy,
Here,
yeah.
no, we're just,
Oh,
What's his
wait.
name?
we're waiting,
I don't know.
yeah, we're waiting for the paperwork.
No, the guy who owned the theater before.
Tom,
Tom, yes, thank you, sorry, my apologies, yes.
Can we just make a quick call to Kurt, say, Kurt,
I know he was looking for something last I spoke to him, so, yeah, well, he wanted to see like the original note, he wanted to go through all that stuff, so,
I forget about Kurt, yeah.
it's okay.
All right, that's all I have.
All right, any other questions from anyone or the staff have anything to report?
here's the last time, the access letter.
Do we need to go into exec? Oh, we don't.
We can't go into executive session, you've all
I guess
seen
we'll
them,
discuss it at the board meeting.
so now you have a copy of it. Jody wants to go into executive session for that.
Why don't we, we've all seen it. So
Yeah.
why don't we get through these meetings and if we wanna, anybody wants to hang out after, we can have a discussion.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, I think that's it for finance, so if we want to move to projects, we can move ahead.
Reviewing the trackers. Are you reviewing the trackers? Project guys?
Yeah, really quickly, Ridgefield Springs, the paving is done. They completed that last week. Including the shoulders. We did have a meeting with Mike State after that a couple of weeks ago. They're supposed to give us a direct estimate, final estimate for extending the electric into the park.
This is overhead, correct?
That's overhead, yeah.
And then just a reminder here, how are you handling that payment? Because you're talking about, like, that's coming from Cindy to make up the difference. So are we footing the bill to begin with and she's reimbursing?
They're not doing any underground.
Okay, she wanted underground and we're not doing that now.
Right,
Okay.
and she agreed that we had a meeting with her and her architect and engineers and her finance people. And she agreed that she doesn't want to pay the extra cost.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, you know what distance that is?
Okay.
The line, the distance that line has to run?
If we look at her, probably it's 150 feet, 200 feet. It's not very far.
God, that's one pole. One or two poles.
Two
max.
poles there.
That's not very expensive. $1,000 a pole maybe. Something like that. Okay.
We did
So,
have,
can I ask you a quick question?
sure,
Tim would know.
Yeah. Here we go.
In the project overview for the Richfield Springs Eco Park, where it says, DA objective ROI, and then below that it says employment impact, IDA revenue one time, and it says a dollar amount of $55,000 sale of site to be determined by appraisal. Is that done?
I don't know.
Have we not determined by appraisal what we're selling it for?
We already sold it.
we already sold it by appraisal.
I'm being facetious, but do we?
It's not done and,
Under IDA revenue.
So I guess, and that's just probably, Jeff, more on me in terms of looking at this project charter. I think the intent was to understand as you're working a project, what the revenue is. And so it's not necessarily that it's done or not done, and essentially it is done, but we've gotten the one-time revenue. So it's not necessarily, I don't know what update you put there because we actually did get the revenue.
You just, instead of saying to be determined, you put sold.
Oh, gotcha. Yep,
Right.
I see what you're saying.
So if anybody picked up the tracker, you at least get
Yep.
like up to date. Yes.
Yep,
Right.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we're meeting with representatives from Seattle at EDA at the site. They're conducting site visits in Massachusetts and New York on projects that are nearing completion. So we'll actually get to meet them firsthand and have a discussion with them. And last, I yesterday received an estimate from the town of Litchfield assessor on what the new assessment will be on the proposed building that Cindy's looking at building. So we can do a cost analysis as to what a pilot agreement would have been.
Yeah.
Any questions? More questions? No?
as far as the railroads go, I am meeting with DEC and Sterling Monday at 11 a.m. to, have a final, stormwater, litigation done. I also met with, the structures again, because last week you guys had some questions on what exactly their clients particularly look for.
Let's, hold on a second. Let's come back to the meeting. Would you like to go to that meeting? Are you going by yourself?
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of questions.
What
It'd
time
be
are you
good.
doing it?
11 a.m. on Monday.
On Monday? I could probably join you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll have their,
Meeting down there.
yeah, right, for going through it.
Okay.
So did you talk about the concerns with Sterling that Dave had?
Sterling's coming.
Yeah, I know, but prior to, I know I got an email from the lady from Sterling.
Just as far as like the mapping out and
Just the concerns, just the concerns of how the DEC.
yeah, I actually met with Andrew that following day on a call.
Andrew.
Which I had told you, who's our representative, Andrew as well. And he said that was more or less just an aerial map view. We won't know until we actually get into the land, what the actual parameters are. So he's hoping it's not like that and hoping that DEC doesn't follow that, but we'll have to wait and see till Monday.
Crazy.
Is there-
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely insane.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nothing new there, so.
Yeah, so, they pretty much said that their, clients would look for like 5 to 50 acres of like true shovel-ready land. They're looking for a site to be able to hold 800 to 2,000 amps, and so having actual numbers on what our electric is, our water pressure, and power and gas, I can get them our numbers, and then they can like use their formula to figure out which companies, manufacturers we should be targeting for that specific area. So rather than me just randomly calling, they'll funnel it down to a certain amount, and I can just reach out to them and be like, hey, here's what we have.
I still go back to, and this is pulling up, but Joe Hughes did brief on every site we owned, and again, it was probably prior to the rail yards when he left. I don't know if you guys, remember, if you remember that. I mean, he had a one pager on the site and it had all the assets of the site. It had power, it had acreage, it had all of that stuff on there.
Who did that?
Joe Hughes, that's going way back.
Well,
But I
our
think-
engineering
I
company
don't
did all of
know.
that.
I was gonna say, that might be something, again, to have in our back pocket on all our property, is just having that
Yeah.
one pager that gives that, so even if we're getting a call on a lead, we have. we
Yeah,
can
so
do that. Yeah,
that was kind of the main thing for me, is like I didn't have that, and so
Yeah.
being able to have that, I can make my own, so I can have it for the site.
Yeah.
But I think we have that. That's what she's saying.
somewhere.
And it, because
And I
we-
might be able to pull, I can take a look.
I don't know if we had it for the rail yards
Oh,
though,
yeah, that's,
but the rail yard purchase was not long before Joe left.
That's the only thing I don't know, yeah, I think we had it in the site
It was
plan.
Rich
No,
Miller.
I don't think we had electric inside the site.
they did.
They did,
It doesn't matter about Joe, but regardless, what's the engineering company down here?
yeah.
Delaware.
Yeah.
We spent of $800,000 or $900,000 to get shovel-ready sites. So there's a lot of information in that, and listen, they did a good job, they didn't miss much. So it gives you something, you still should continue, because things change.
Right.
You know, and they changed from 10, absolutely changed from 10 years ago, but it gives you a basis. Tim, does that sound right? They change, I would assume? Power, if you can hear?
I can't follow. I'm having trouble with my video and my audio. So I'm not
Okay.
sure what you're talking about.
Okay,
Would it change?
it could, I don't know.
Okay.
It could, they're upgrading, I mean, they continually they're upgrading now, certain stuff, poles, you see. I'm not saying they're giving more power, but they're upgrading the line, I know they're upgrading stuff,
Okay.
so,
Okay,
but maybe not.
yeah.
And so, it gives you a little, you know,
Starting point.
smoother starting point.
Yeah.
Tim, what we're talking about is what might happen over the last 10 years with NICEAG's ability to provide power to the rail yards.
Would it change? Would it have changed?
Yes. Yeah, everything that's been added on South Side has drawn on their capacity. And there's been a tremendous amount of development. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear background, like, I don't know what's going on my laptop. But anyway, there's been so much development down there for years. They've said that they're at capacity out of the River Street substation and, well, almost every one of them.
Yeah.
And transmission line capacity. And they haven't, as far as I know, they haven't done anything to upgrade, but I haven't had a engineering conversation with them in a year or two.
Just recently, they're doing it just now, you see them around with the poles, they're right now in the last
Yeah.
8 months.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of pole replacements, probably because of the broadband projects that are going on in town.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
That River Street substation, is that the one by Corning?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right where they, solar panel. Which is why they put it. Okay.
And then also some things that they want to know are the zone restrictions, depending on if they want to like build wide or high and all that. So I'll look into that for the rail yards, just to have like a full, kind of like a, packet. So like, here's what we have, here's what we can offer. How's it look? I went to the IGA committee meeting Tuesday to pretty much ask if they would be our municipality to work on this ACR CDBG grant to pay for the electric study in the rail yards. So I'll be going back there May 21st to pretty much do the same thing I did on Tuesday. I met with Tammy Harris. That's kind of how this all came up. But they are working on building a transfer station. They need fill, and they wanted to know if that concrete we have in the rail yards, if we were to be able to pulverize it, get rid of it, they can have it. So I wanted to kind of bring that up to see what would, like, the cost of us doing that now rather than waiting until later for it to cost more, since instead of hauling it away somewhere, it would be used for another building in this area.
Where do they want this? Oh, what's the location?
Southern transfer station. We're looking at a major reconstruct, new construction project there, like $5 or $6 million. Southern has a whole bunch of issues. So
Is that near the school bus garage?
yes, yep, yep. Yeah, there was major damage to one of the buildings there last year, some microstorm or whatever, and
Oh, yeah,
so we had
exactly.
so Southern was closed for a little bit when some major repairs were required. And so in the process, there's recognition that there's a lot, there was discussion about revamping it anyway, but this is just fast forwarded things there. So there's a recognition that, this project needs to be done sooner than later, but there's still a financing issue and, the county, it's not going to happen like tomorrow, but, I think they're just preparing for it.
It was the main building.
Yeah, the main building.
Damage, yeah. That could cut costs significantly, because that's maybe a mile and a half from the rail yard site right down there. That would be ideal.
So she wants to know,
So basically, if we were able to, when could we pretty much pulverize it? Then
why don't they just come get it and pulverize it? It don't cost us anything. That's probably the best bet. That's
Yeah, that would make
either way
sense.
we're paying, so if they want, we'll just pay somebody to take it,
Right.
or they can come get it. And because it's gonna cost them to fill it. So if they need it, it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Good for them to ask you, but I would really push the other way.
Okay.
It's
wanted to
there,
bring it up
send your
to-
trucks down and
Yeah.
have at it,
Wanted to bring it up just to see like,
because it's worth money.
right, it is.
Because we start pulverizing, we'll just sell, because those people will take it all the time. Not that people will buy it. A lot. So that's the bigger thing about cleaning up a yard. When you have that, you have concrete, a lot of people bring in the machines, they pulverize it and they sell it. But that's not my job. Sorry.
Terrell, when you fall back up with Tammy about that, just let Tammy know if, obviously if we need to bring that forward to Public Works or, she can just let me know what we need to do and I'll help follow up on that. And then, are you gonna touch on some of the pushback we got at IGA?
Yeah. So the firm, what was it, Capital Engineering or Capital Energy, that we want to do our energy study. One of the public is concerned with the optics because they typically work with data centers. Even though Jody and I met with them and told them our concerns and what we want done, which has nothing to do with data center related stuff, but the public,
No, yeah, sorry, Terrell, just to correct, Emin Hinchy is another county rep. He's not on that committee. He represents the town of Oneonta. So he was there, bringing up his concerns and pointing this out to the committee. And, yeah, so sorry, go ahead, Terrell.
Yeah, so from what I gathered, basically is his concern is that we do this and pretty much we're preparing to have a data center here. And apparently the town and the city doesn't want that, and so we're getting pushed back on wanting to have the study done.
Didn't we already contract with them to do the study?
No, well, we didn't pay for it, so they haven't started,
But if that's not our intent, and we communicate that's not our intent.
which I did.
I said that, and you know, but you know how,
New York
I
State
mean,
has a
there,
law, it doesn't matter. New York State is above, at this point, there's no data centers.
no, and you know, the separate thing to this, and I sent an email to Cheryl and Jody about this, and we continued the discussion at IGA. We're you know, through planning, we're pulling in resources, information. We're looking at maybe some kind of county assessment regarding, you know, like, are we really a good fit for data centers? We're trying to get Southern Tier 8 involved because it's really more a regional discussion. And as Tim has pointed out multiple times, we don't have the power infrastructure for this kind of, you know, supporting these kinds of enterprises. So, you know, a lot of this, you know, it was a fine conversation. Emmon was just bringing it up and expressing on behalf of his district, you know, that this is a concern, and that, you know, he's just pointing out this company is very much tied to doing studies for data center, you know, the electric needs for data centers. So we just need to be
I'm sure
sensitive.
they had, well, I'm sure before data centers, they did other work for a lot of other companies too.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they were
So-
stressed before, they did the,
It's a ludicrous conversation, but I understand what you're saying and appreciate that.
Capital energy,
Yeah, if I could interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the power supply thing, if we have or can attract a business that'll create enough jobs, the power authority will provide more power.
Yes.
So it's not that NICEAG obviously doesn't have enough power, but they can be required, just like they did with Chobani. I mean, they literally built about 10 miles of transmission to build Chobani into South Edmiston. So it can happen. It's just we have to attract a business that creates enough jobs.
Correct.
The minimum is 8. So data centers obviously are, you know, and that's permanent jobs. So data centers are an issue with acquiring new power.
the specific funding source that we're looking at applying for prohibits their monies from being used for data centers.
So I
Oh,
guess
that's-
bottom line is, right, after conversation and clarifying intent and utilization, was he satisfied with that response?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you know, I think the main key of it was, the main point was that the county is moving forward with some of our own research and information, and he's proposed a resolution. We're looking at a resolution around, you know, just data centers in general. I don't know what'll result from that ultimately, but our work on this study, you know, I was very clear. This is not tied to data centers. It's separate from what we're doing with the county. And, you know, he was just expressing his concern.
And then, of course, we already talked about the wetland happening one day, so that's what I have.
Is there something, are you guys doing a grant for somebody at the town?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I was,
Is
you had
that
not
just
to me
you?
yet.
Oh, I didn't know, you were on here, you weren't on
I'm
here,
not
so.
on here, but I figured
right.
when you said, I have a little note when you were
Oh,
saying you
okay.
were finished with it, so I'm working on.
Sorry, here, things.
That's okay. So the first grant was the county grant for micro enterprise. I completed a pre-application for that. It's been approved, so I'm working on the full application. That's already been approved on all county levels, so I can hit submit whenever I get that done and I have the county sign off. And then we have,
How much is that again?
it'll be for 300,000, 283 direct to businesses and the 17 for us between admin and program delivery. And then we have Ronnie
The
Thorsland.
max is 30,000 for that, right?
What do you mean?
The first.
35.
35,000.
5,000 to 35,000 for the businesses. And the city just finished theirs, so it's nice timing for that. The next one that you're asking about is Ronnie Thorsland. That's the old Pizza Hut building. He's opening Southern Comfort Brewery and Creamery. Southern Comfort Smokehouse and Creamery. And So we actually completed a pre-application on this. I brought this up probably like a year ago,
Yeah.
maybe even like 6 months ago. And he needed to get ducks in a row. The pre-application was approved. He didn't get his ducks in a row in time, so it kind of went away. So I have to do a new pre-application for that. We now have a new town supervisor, so it's a new members on the board. So I met with Will and I asked him to sign the pre-application, and he didn't feel comfortable doing that without getting authorization from his board. So they're actually meeting tonight and he's supposed to put it on the agenda. So that's where we stand with that.
The meeting tonight,
I think he said May 14th agenda.
they met last.
It's a big question. I would have-
Maybe, what's day? Maybe it was last night. I thought, maybe he had the day wrong. I thought he said 14th.
Usually they're Tuesdays, right?
I think.
I said the 14th. Maybe I had the day wrong. It may have been last night, because they meet on Wednesday.
Yeah, my understanding was they were kicking it down the road to July.
Oh, that day.
That's what I heard. I don't know. I didn't go to the meeting.
It'd be nice.
And where's this money coming from?
CDBG. So it's kind of like what we did for IOXIS. It's actually a very small amount. It's an $85,000 grant for equipment for his, if they kick it down the road to July, that doesn't really work because, I mean, it might work, but I'm gonna assume that he wants to open and the equipment he needs, he'll need to open.
So my question is that we've done this for him and people are hearing about it because people are talking about it.
Right,
And so we're just doing that, just doing Ed May.
that's not,
Okay.
yes.
Just want to be clear.
So they approached us because they heard that another business was getting a CDBG. And so we explained to them that we can't apply for a CDBG. It needs to be a municipality. So he would need to either approach the town of Oneonta or the county of Otsego. He approached the town of Oneonta and they were on board with it. So I said I would do the pre-application and we would do it. Well, now there's a new town administration, so it's going through them now. So if another business wanted to come to us and ask us to do that, I don't see why we wouldn't entertain a conversation as long as the municipality that's behind them wanted to be part of it.
We got a request last week from the village of Cooperstown to do an application or to explore doing an application for somebody who's looking to buy one of the hotels. The problem with that application, and I've explained this to the mayor, is that they want the money for acquisition of the property. And the problem with the acquisition is that there aren't any jobs created until after you acquire the property.
Right.
So the problem is, what if you spend that money, $700,000 on the acquisition, and they don't create the jobs, then the village is on the hook to pay the money back. So we have a meeting this afternoon, a Zoom meeting to discuss it in more detail.
Is this, Jody, is this the Holiday Inn Express?
I'm sorry?
He said, is it the Holiday Inn Express?
No, it's
This is the one before.
Tuna Cliff Inn.
Oh, in Cooperstown itself.
Yeah.
It's the one downtown, right? Yeah.
You said comfort in, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
I mean,
We don't-
So when we do this work for them, do we collect a fee?
Yes.
Yeah.
5,000.
Right, so, all set?
The only,
Yeah,
For which, for 5,000 from Rod Thorson?
for that one. Oh, yeah, for that one. For micro, it's 17. Because it's a
Yes,
higher
yeah.
number.
You're saying like it's
17,000 as a total. How much money are you giving out? 150,000?
No, so we're applying for 300, we get 17,000 between program delivery and administrative costs, the 283,000 then gets divided up between the businesses.
Right.
Which is actually not a lot for 2 years of work, so.
So I guess where I'm coming from is the 5,000 fee for doing the pre-application, that would be a
Not
service.
just for the pre-app.
Well,
it's
yes,
everything.
right, for everything, but that would be a service we would essentially offer.
Yeah, if someone else wanted it and they came to us, he approached us, so that's how this started. So it's not like we went to them and asked to do it.
you know,
I know what Ed does. It's all
Well,
Ed. Just, I know. So,
So just
I know what he does.
ask us.
So, but it's important, if, again, Jeff, we went away from this with the monies for many years of doing this because we don't have any staff.
Right,
And now we're people in Oneonta, so small talk about it and they say stuff and I say, I have no idea because I don't get an email. Maybe you know, but I have no idea.
Well-
So these are important things that the communication needs to happen within the committee, right? So the committee knows and can answer these questions, right? That's the frustration. So for
I
me,
think I will say the pre-app though was long time ago.
That's fine.
We did have that conversation.
That's
And
fine.
I haven't done a full app, so I haven't brought it back to the committee because you guys technically you already knew about, everything that I've done, you already
That's
knew about. You knew about the
And
pre-app.
it's not just, it's just not, it's really general, I'm not picking on you at all, but
Right.
this just came up this last week, to be honest with you. Sitting in Latte Lounge and someone walks up to me and says, so are you doing CBD grants for people? I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay.
That's what they say
But
to
we
me,
have-
I don't know what to tell you, they don't say it in Evanston, they say it at the Latte Lounge to me, right? So I say, I
But you
used to
know,
on the IDA
we've
board,
done a
I said,
whole
why
bunch
don't you
of it.
call, what?
So I do, like, from my perspective, I do feel like we're trying to do way too much micromanaging into this, right? And understanding.
It's
there's
not
no-
micromanaging, you just
But
need to
there's
know.
no way that they can communicate everything that's going on to you individually.
It's not-
I mean, even you guys all jumping into these meetings, like, I'm struggling to understand what your expectations are of them, because you now have 3 people that are going to be reporting everything that they do each day, and a lot of it, to be fair, is stuff we just forget. Like, again, this is an example, this is something we approved as a board or as a committee 6 months to a year ago.
You're talking about something that does, all I'm telling you, it's fine, I just asked the question. But when you have a committee, they need, it's a working
But
committee.
what was she gonna update you on?
No, I just didn't know about it.
Well, you did.
Right.
You may have forgotten.
Right,
But
so-
you did, so how are they supposed to, every week?
So-
every month, they want to tell you this?
Sure, yeah, I mean, I believe that Dave is asking, like, I don't know anything, I walk in this meeting, I know nothing that's going on, besides 2 days before. So I think it's important that at least we understand, so we can discuss it. This meeting should take about 8 minutes, because people should know about it, that's my opinion. And that's why I put out that email.
Really
Do you meet with him?
Once a month to go over his goals.
Right, so once,
I'm not talking about this stuff. I'm talking about how to progress what they're doing as an organization.
right, so
When
it's.
it comes to community development block grant applications, we will consider any legitimate applicant. So, for example, we've turned down people. We just said, your project is not gonna get funded. We won't even bring that to the committee, to this committee to discuss it, because there's no chance of ever getting a grant for this company. Those companies that we feel have a good chance will entertain, but they have to go to the municipality and get permission for that. That's why Megan's talking about the town board has to meet, because if they don't recommend it. Remember, when I first came here, we were told by the county that we were not a county agency.
Right.
And we couldn't apply for community development block grants through the county. Terrell was fortunate because they changed their attitude towards us. They now view us as a really efficient county, somewhat county agency, so that Terrell can go and ask for them to apply for a grant. The only place that we do not apply for grants under community development block grants is the city of Oneonta. And that's because they have a requirement that if you do an application, the city wants the applicant to pay for a private consultant that they recommend using. So we stay away from city of Oneonta applications in that sense. But
So I guess I'm, again, in my coaching with these guys, trying to understand, like, I don't know what your expectations are in terms of, and I don't know if you guys do, if you do, tell me to shut up, but like, I have no idea what you're expecting and how frequent you're expecting communication and what types of information you want. And I don't know if perhaps going back to that spreadsheet of the project director should show when we're doing applications or grants on there is enough, or it's not enough.
I think it is, but I don't see it. Did I?
No, I agree, that's
It
missing.
is more than enough,
from
but it's
this
not,
packet.
but it needs to be in there, that's
Okay.
all. I'm not saying she called me every time someone,
Well, that's-
I get
yeah.
it, that's not at all, you're way blowing this, but there's no information on any of this conversation there's, I don't know.
But like, that's what my point is.
I mean,
Because
like,
we already
so-
had that, we already had that as a committee.
I'm not talking to her, I'm talking, what we're talking about now, there's no prior conversation to anything that's going on there. So just the information of what's going on, so
But
there's
that's the
questions.
purpose of this meeting.
Is it, okay.
and for-
There's a lot of questions going on, but there's no follow-up inside of here of what went on prior to, right? So,
So part of it is there's this major issue going on in the town. This is the reason I found out about this, right? Because, and I had forgotten that we had done that pre-app, because now we've got to change. We have Will Rivera in there. And so now the town is talking about a moratorium on data centers, doing a moratorium on short-term rentals. It's just, and so there's a discussion going on in the the community about what's going on here. And the point was, the town decided, from what I heard, and I don't know how true this is, they were gonna kick the can down the road and they were not gonna consider it at last night's meeting. They were gonna shoot it forward to the July agenda. That's why
I just like them to be straightforward. If you wanna do it, we'll do it. If you don't wanna do it, we don't have to do it. It's not our project. That's all I ask from them.
Wait, well, yeah, why are we talking about the town of Oneonta in such a detail? I don't understand. Because we're not having this discussion about Cooperstown.
Conversation, we're involved to a certain extent. There's a conversation going on in the town right now with the new administration. There's some issues going on between them supposedly in Cooperstown and All-Star Village. There's a whole bunch of contractors that are working on, these abandoned buildings and homes, and now they're telling them that they're not gonna be able to rent them, or so they're wondering whether you're gonna continue. So it's kind of, we just got wrapped up in that conversation because of what's going on in the town. That's all, that's the only reason I had the question. It's like, I didn't realize that it was alive again. I found out that it got kicked
Right,
out.
but so Milford passed a short-term rental moratorium. Cooperstown has similar legislation. In fact, where was the idea on those issues? Like, why are we getting sucked in to such a local issue?
Because I was asked by someone about this, because it's all part of what's going on in the town. That's all, and I had no answer for them. I didn't know I found out from them where the town supervisor stood on this at this particular point. We're trying to be helpful, right? Megan's trying to be helpful, and in the meantime, it looks like they may not want to do anything here. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre. And so it's work for us. That was the only reason.
Well, it's up to them. Ultimately, if they wanna do the project, that's completely up to them.
Absolutely.
Either I do the work or I don't do the work, so.
My only concern was that I know staffing issues was that we weren't doing this, or that's all I was saying. Are we doing this? Because people will stop.
Well, again, if
You
it
know,
had
Are we
been
not?
if it had been a $700,000 grant like I accessed, there would have been a bigger conversation within the staff of,
Right.
is this something we can handle? It's an $85,000 grant.
But
I can do it in one draw.
and 99% of people are just small little businesses all in Oneonta. So that's big for them. We're not.
Right.
So when I get asked, and I've been saying, you should go to the county, and you should go to the city. That's what I've been saying.
Which is
Like,
true.
which is fine, but I'm just want to discuss it so we all know what's going on.
We could theoretically administer a grant on someone's behalf, but they have to have the municipality behind them.
Right.
So that's what it comes down to.
But some people just need direction, and I'm not the guy that wants to
Well,
give
they can come and
not micromanage direction. I want to be able to say, call.
They
up
should
here.
call, yes, call.
But
And we'll listen.
And as far as the stuff, of this stuff, and other than Dave, I've been trying to, get a meeting with you to go over some of these things prior. So.
yeah, I don't get one email from you. I know, we talked about that. I mean, not one. And I get 500 emails answered, 500 emails a day. Do you have my email right now?
Yeah.
Would cgalsman@gmail.com?
That's the one that's in it.
No.
Yeah.
I believe you, but what is your email?
tmarshall@stable.com.
So.
4:15, I got one at 4:15. This is
Excellent.
Sterling one.
Megan, that clarifies.
That's all I got.
Yeah, because in there, it was just
needed for clarification. That's all.
And again, for me, from my perspective, and it's aside this, is I'm trying to coach them and be clear on what you guys need and how to support them through that. And I have no idea what the expectations are. So again, it's telling Terrell to meet directly with you to understand what you guys asked for a bi-weekly report. What should be in there?
No, I didn't ask for it. I just said, I asked the committee, what would you like? Weekly, bi-weekly, and it wasn't just me. I just think.
Okay, well, collectively.
That's what they.
So
came
what
up
do you
with.
guys want in that, I guess, is what we're trying to understand, is clarity in terms of, because if you're gonna need a bi-weekly report, I wouldn't expect, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, so do what you want with it, that they're gonna give you daily updates on different things. Something's gonna be in that bi-weekly report that provides the updates that you need, that, combine everything. So it's just trying to understand what level of detail, what kind of information, what you guys are looking for. So, and Terrell, I think that's probably why you're looking to me, is to understand that. Okay.
Perfect.
I think, one of the things that we're dealing with here is that that there's a serious tone of not wanting to work with the city on anything. It's not, it's from a lot of people in the community at this point. It's unfortunate. And the really are just in the city. That's the issue, you know? Crazy. Hopefully Dean Butterman changes that.
Any new unfinished?
No, I think, yeah.
You were in the new unfinished business, that was you? Gotcha. Good.
Yeah, anybody else? We're good? No, okay, all right.
All good.
See ya.
No, they want to
Stick
stop.
around.
And the recording.
Stick
No,
around.
Not the meeting, not the meeting.
The recording should be separate.
Oh, it just says